Hey guys, this is John, and I'm playing AlexKrycek in the 3-minute pool on ICC. Going to play a real quick session today. It is July 4th. Happy Independence Day to my fellow Americans. And let's try to play some decent 3-minute chess. I've been working hard in the pool. I feel warmed up at the moment. I played a few games before starting this recording. Let's play a6 and bishop d7. This variation of the classical f3. I'm just going to play bishop e7 here. h6, kick the bishop, and if the bishop goes back, I like h5, stop g4. Put the queen on c7. Pretty standard stuff. I'm going to go for b5. Okay, let's take with the bishop. He's pivoting with the knight. I'm going to put this here to support a future b4. I haven't castled yet because I'm a little concerned that he might try some shenanigans on that side of the board. Let's play b4. He can take on a6, but that might help me if he does. Feels like he's gearing up for some sort of central break, but I don't see what that is yet, so I'm just going to keep pushing. Yeah, e5 could be coming, but doesn't seem like that big of a deal yet, so let's just castle. Now looks like an appropriate time to do this. And let's take knight here. Knight c3 is interesting, but I don't think it works. So yeah, let's just recapture. And he's playing directly for this. Might have to sack a pawn here. I can play knight d5, queen takes, and then g6. But I think my king is too exposed in that line. Yeah, so I'm going to do this. This does lose a pawn, but maybe I can have some counterplay against this king, like a5, a4, a3. Possible attack on c2. Pre-move whichever way he takes. Yeah, and I think I just need to go for this. Not much else to say. Go for b3. Let's throw in f4. Looks annoying just to kick the rook. Maybe here. Attack e5. Suddenly this is a bit hard to guard, unless he wants to play rook e1. Knight f3, okay. He wants knight g5. Have to be aware of that. Okay, let's go here. If knight g5, I do have bishop f5. I got to make decisions a little quicker now. Queen takes c2 could be coming. If rook d7. He's out for blood here. I think I have to take that. Okay, here. Now, what is going on in this position? a3. He has a draw by perpetual. I'm going to go here, though. He can take and then play rook d7, but king f6, I might just be getting away. Amazingly. Maybe he was thinking he was mating me. Okay, but next I need to go a3, like, very quick. What is that move? Okay, let's just take it. Unsure what he was going for here. If he takes here, I have d1. Very surprised by that decision. Okay, now I'm winning. Just a race against the clock. a3. I'm guarding h7. He can't go there. Trade the queens. That's extremely helpful. just going to go bishop f5 and rook b1. Let's make next move. Rook takes a4. Ooh, nail-biter of a game. So I lost the pawn on the king side, but it somehow worked out well. I wonder if right here he should just play knight takes f5 instead of queen takes h5. The f-pawn is probably more valuable, because my light square bishop turned out to be annoying for him to deal with when it got to f5. This is a critical moment, because I don't think he should play knight g5. As tempting as that looks, because it threatens queen h7, if I can post my bishop on the f5 square and attack the rook and also attack c2, he's falling short. Let me just check the analysis in this position. Yeah, black is just better here. What about, so after he does this, queen takes... so bishop g6 was the most stable move in this position. Yeah, because that stops rook, or queen rather, to f7 check. And the engine says I'm simply winning after that. Bishop g6, and it says his best move is to take the bishop, but if bishop g6 and the queen comes back, why am I so dead winning? Probably just because of a3 next move. Yeah, once that pawn hits a3, I'm threatening mate on b2, and white's king gets opened up. The a3 can opener. Yeah, and it looks like knight takes e6 was just a shot in the dark here. Fortunately for me, if rook takes g7, king takes g7, rook d7 check, I have king f6, and I'm actually escaping with my king. Is a check on h6, I go king e5, and I'm in the clear. There's knight f3, king e4, or king d5 probably better. Okay. I've been looking at some of these classical Sicilian lines lately, so I'm glad I got that in the game. Back in the pool against the same opponent. I've just been playing knight f3 on move 2 for simplicity's sake. Let's go knight c3 and play for e4. I can also put the pawn on c4, but this is a valid line as well. Now a4. I think rook e1 is good, just to be able to tuck the bishop away eventually. Let's see if we can snag the two bishops. Okay. I'm going to pull the queen back, just because in the future they might try for e5. Let's go here. Nibble away. So if takes, there's knight takes d5. I'm not all that concerned about that pawn, though, I don't think. Although I did miss that little tactic. Let's go here. b3. Take this guy. Let's put this here. I know he can bring his knight into d4. Black does have some weaknesses, though. Okay, now can I play knight d5? Knight d5, knight c4, take on a7. That seems to check out. I'm going to do it. Hopefully I'm not blundering anything, but I think because I have c3 guarded at all times, this should be fine. So maybe that was a miscalculation by my opponent. Yeah, rook a4, knight's coming into d5. They can sink their knight into d4, but... Oh, wow. They're going to capture that. Okay. Preferring this sort of line, but still happy with that extra pawn. Let's go here. I don't want to surrender the file. You got to watch knight e2. It's not a threat yet, but you just got to watch it. Okay, I want to prepare to eject that knight, so maybe queen d3. Looking for c3 in the future. Yeah, like now I can play c3. But first let's play rook a6. I think I like that. Just try to apply some pressure to d6. Maybe we're not in a rush. Okay, now this. There's a couple checks, but yeah, I can defend. No big deal. Check, just king h2. And if queen f4, queen g3. opponent just resign. Seems premature to resign, but it does look like black is losing another pawn. Because even in the event of queen c1, king h2, queen f4, queen g3, the queen trade, the knight has to go somewhere where I can just take d6 and, yeah, technically winning position. Plus 2.5. So I made a mistake in the sense that after a5 and b takes a5, I didn't realize that rook takes a5 is running into the discovery knight takes d5, undefended piece on a5. But fortunately, the integrity of my position is such that I can, I think, just calmly develop here. Like I played some safety moves, bishop d2, guard the knight, and then b3. Have my pawns protecting each other. And I'm not going to claim I'm better here or anything, but despite being down a pawn, white has very reasonable play with the two bishops and a number of weaknesses in the black camp. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to keep this to a short session. Just have some firework plans tonight, so I got to run pretty soon. I mentioned this in my last video, actually the last couple videos, but I've been really motivated working on my chess lately. I want to play some tournaments in the fall, and I have one norm tournament that I'm definitely playing in August here in Minnesota. It's a 9-round round-robin tournament, so I want to be prepared for that. I've just been dragging out my chess books, and I even bought some stuff on Amazon recently, working on my openings in particular. You might have noticed I'm playing a couple new lines, like that classical Sicilian I'm just experimenting with. And for my coaching, too, I feel it helps. I always think it's good to be an active player if you're coaching people. Okay, I just faced this line. I'm going to do this variation. Now knight e4. I think I played e3 in the other game and simply defended in the center, but this is a bit more active, so this line where you get a trade and then black usually castles. I'm not sure at all that white is better here, but for a 3-minute game, it looks like a pretty good try. So queen h6, knight g5 is on the cards. Like I can play queen h6 right now. And in fact, let's do that because knight g5 is threatened. Oh wow, black's going to sack the queen. Okay. Wasn't really expecting that. I thought they were going to play something like f6. Now, how best to continue? I think I'm going to continue aggressively. h4. I mean, black is pretty underdeveloped here, so maybe just h4, h5, try to utilize the rook. And I got to make sure black doesn't quickly double on the d-file or something, but given that this bishop is out of the game for the moment, I think this is all right. So if h5... yeah, I can play h5. I think the rook is going to come up somewhere. But there's this g4 idea in the air too. So yeah, if rook d6, what if I play g4 now? g4, and if black doubles, I do have bishop to g2. G4 looks pretty challenging. I'm going to try it. Take that way. Okay. But if I check, how are you defending your piece? Take rook over bishop to, say, h3 or something. I think this is good. I mean, there's a couple minor issues. Maybe I should just play b3 here. Maybe I don't even have to get involved with the other stuff. Moving the bishop. I'm just wondering if their knight comes into d4, how I'm going to navigate that. I think b3 is just simplest here. Yeah, let's do that. I was thinking I needed to play the bishop out, but I don't think I even need to bother with that. It's probably just safer to defend my king. Though my opponent keeps playing moves I don't see. Queen h6, bishop f5, I check. Let's go here. I think he's out of tricks. And I'm crashing through on the king side. There's a problem for black. Not only is the bishop hanging, but even if black checks me and does something around my king, they almost need 3 moves to create some really serious threat. Whereas I just need one move. H takes g6, and already black is threatened with a mate. Queen takes h7, queen takes f7, or queen h8. I mean, maybe they'll do something like knight e5 somewhere, but knight e5 take, and okay, they're going to do this, but I always thought just check. Yeah, let's do that. Now we'll take. I can bring the rook back to h1. Bishop here is fancy, but check, and they escape. So probably just here. Yeah, go after h7. Just check. Bishop h3 is on the way. I think that's going to be game over. Yeah, black resigns. So, after queen e3, the idea of queen into h6, I was surprised by the course of the game, because d5 here and takes already seems pretty desperate. I know knight g5 is a threat, but why not just play f6 here and guard the g5 square? I have ideas. I can continue in coffeehouse style if I want h4, h5, try to break through to the king, but that seems like it would have been much tougher. Because now black is down a point of material. I still have an attack. I don't have any pieces around my king, but because of what I was talking about in the game, black's coordination not being quite there to land a truly decisive blow, I think white is simply winning. Engine says plus 1.5. Rook d6. Yeah, this g4 deflection move. Because I want to be able to take on g6 when black can't calmly reply with bishop takes. So here... This move I didn't even see, actually. G takes h5. I don't know why I didn't look at that, but it appears to just run into the check, and now the take. Now I am willing to allow bishop g6 because I got black in a pin down the g file. Yeah, and b3. Yeah, and this is just winning. Okay, pretty satisfied with that one. Let's get back in there. I do believe this is one of black's best lines against the Tory. So after knight bd2, playing the immediate c5. And as I was saying, in a game I put up from last week, it was in one of the sessions from last week, I should say, I think I played e3 in this position. And I didn't get that great of a position. I think it was against... Well, might have been a different game, but I know I played e3 sometime recently here. And in this case, though, with the take knight e4 line, it's more of a direct challenge to black's setup, because now I'm attacking f6 and c5. And like I said, I'm not confident that white is better here. In fact, I remember some game, I think it was Mamedyarov white versus Wesley So as black. And Wesley equalized pretty easily, and it was drawn. I don't think Mamedyarov was able to demonstrate much from this position as white. But yeah, decent little 3-minute line, blitz line. And the engine concurs. f6 should be played right now. I'm just going to play one more game, and then I got to hit the road. Let me check that position. If f6 was played, how to continue. Just kind of curious what my best bet would be there. So if f6, what if I just play h4, like I was saying? Then black plays queen a5. They're threatening the knight. They're threatening a2. I probably can't keep my head down and play h5. That seems too risky. Okay, T-Rex will be the last opponent of the day. Let's bring the bishop out. I'm going to take this pawn. And we'll just develop. White can probably be happy because they recovered the pawn quickly. But this doesn't look like anything out of the ordinary for this line. Black has the solid c6, e6 structure. Knight d5. Nah, I probably should just castle. I know they can go knight d6 and maybe go after b7, but I should have enough play there. Yeah, let's go knight d5 and attack that dark square bishop. And here I'm thinking a5, just to stop any b4 expansion. Bishop f6. There's also b5, but no, I think I like bishop f6, attack that rook. And if rook c1, doesn't b5 already win material for me? Oh no, there's e3 for the knight. I was thinking that knight was out of flight squares, but not quite. Still, I kind of like this move, so I'm going to play it. And then probably just go rook c8. It's also bishop b2. But I think I want to protect against the possibility of the rook c6 capture. Maybe bring this back. But then there's knight d4, but I have queen b6. Let's go here. Okay, so that's kind of a two-way move. Attacking and defending, but probably just queen b6. Looks normal. Guard c6 again. Maybe knight c5 coming up. Let's take that. Get rid of that guy. Okay, knight c5, queen c2 probably. There's also b4, but I'm not as worried about b4 because I think after the trade I get into b3 or maybe even knight b3 directly. Gotta pick up the pace a little bit though. Queen b2, maybe a4. I'm concentrating on the queen side because that's where my advantage appears to be. This just seems... Oh, I see. I see. Interesting, sir. Okay, well, let's take. I think I gotta take. b4. Now let's retreat. I thought that was just dropping b3, but there was that pin to contend with. Maybe rook b8 would have been stronger, I don't know, but I made this decision. Let's take. Hold this back. I want to go a4. Got e7 guarded, so that's helpful. Just take once. I'm gonna bring this over. We'll keep that pawn parked on a4 for now. Knight c6, I'll go rook back to c8. A little surprised by that move. Doesn't seem to do much other than... Because I think the rook is going to have to retreat once my a-pawn starts running. Let's attack that guy. Let's check first. Ah, I meant to play rook b3, but okay. This still might be all right. Bishop c5 I'm looking for. Yeah, that attack on f2 is pretty nice. Okay, this is going to be another pawn. All right, and they flagged. I was intending to play rook b3 after check. Yeah, because rook b3 would defend the pawn. Importantly, after rook b2 takes, I can't play rook a2 because of knight b5. And the knight is protecting the rook on a7. Fortunately, it worked out, though, even rook b2, because after takes, white has some work to do before they make a draw. Because of the attack on f2, black has a better pawn structure, this bishop c5 idea. I just wanted to play g6 first, so bishop c5, rook a8, I can go up to g7 with my king. Yeah, and this should be winning. Up the 2 pawns in the endgame. I'm sure I didn't play correctly right here, but time was a bigger factor. Okay, that was a pretty reasonable game. Not sure about the early capture on c4. In fact, I wonder in this line, in this position, am I supposed to take on f3 first? Bishop takes f3, then take on c4. I think that might be it. Another thing I'll have to look up. But okay, pretty good session. 4 games and got 4 wins out of that. And was able to keep pace with my opponents on the clock. That's what I've been aiming for in these last couple of videos. Hasn't always worked out like that, but I'm working on it. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this video. And like I said, I've been trying to work on my chess more and more, so expect to see that in the next couple months. I really want to raise my level, continue challenging myself, and play some OTB tourneys. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you later.